Hi, this is Caryn Solomon, and welcome to my podcast, Crushing On. Thanks for returning for episode 2. This has been a wild ride this past week, and I've just been so grateful for all the love and support that we received after episode 1. This was a tiny show that we didn't think anyone would listen to, but it's just been so encouraging to hear the feedback from everybody. For those of you who are on Apple Podcasts, please rate and review the show. It helps other people find it. And also special thanks to those who have already reviewed it. I'll send you a dedication next week. But for now, I just wanted to say that I've seen it and I appreciate it. Today's episode, we are joined by Pia Jane. Pia Jane is a friend and a cousin of mine who currently lives in New York City. She's a reality TV buff and she just consumes entertainment like it is Skittles. So she was a great person to chat to in these beginning episodes of mine when I was still learning and still busy finding my way, because she has a lot to talk about. So there are some notes I want to say off the bat before we get into this week's interview. Firstly, because she's in New York, and like most of these interviews during lockdown, the interview took place over Zoom, which means that sometimes the sound won't be as strong as it could be. And for that, I apologize. And also, she has a tendency to visually talk. So there'll be moments where there's a slight pause where she's done a weird action, or I'm laughing at a face that she's pulled. So once again, I know that doesn't always translate over audio. Secondly, I recorded a lot of these interviews a couple of weeks in advance. So unfortunately, because the news changes so fast, a lot has happened since I've done the interview. We spoke a little bit, and you will hear about the Black Lives Matter protests, which are currently happening across the world, but in particular in the US. And she touches on the fact that the protests were currently happening in New York, but we don't go into much detail. And since then, the protests have increased so much more. So don't think we're ignoring the issue. Just at that point, it hadn't reached what it has become right now. We also touch on a little bit about how the coronavirus is dealing there. And the situation hasn't changed much. But I just want you to know that these have been pre-recorded. And this is not currently what is happening now. Another warning that I would like to put on the episode is a bit of a trigger warning. We discuss the rape culture in the Scary Movie franchise very explicitly. So there are some phrases and some wordings which might be crude and might be a trigger warning for some people. So I just want to warn you about that. And then, as always, we have a little bit of a spoiler warning because, we like to spoil the tea on here. So a spoiler warning for season 3 and a little bit of season 4 of Riverdale that we get a bit into. And so if you haven't seen that, or if you don't want to be spoiled, drop off then. We will put the times when the spoilers and the trigger warnings are in the episode notes. So read that and listen up. And otherwise, enjoy the episode. Oh, wait. She does also mention in the episode about the Beauty and the Baker. And she talks about how it might be cancelled. We have learned since that interview that the Beauty and the Baker has been cancelled. There are some petitions and some celebrities are calling for ABC to reconsider their decision. So it might get picked up by another network. It might get renewed. We don't know what's happening, but I just wanted to fill you in on that. Otherwise, here's the episode. Let us know what you think. At the end, I'll give, as always, how to contact Pia, how to contact me, how to give feedback to the show, where you can learn more. But once again, thanks for tuning in. How are things there now?
Oh, it's like we have two different things going on. So we have the coronavirus and we have the protests going on. And it's been difficult to kind of navigate, but we see it, especially on the roof, you just see all the helicopters, patrolling and stuff. It's an eerie vibe though, won't lie. It's an eerie vibe. the fact that, we still have to social distance and stuff like that. We do have a few bars open.
Oh, okay. Are people
so
going to bars?
Yes. But in the bars, you go to like the bar and like they have like a station outside. So you go there and then, you take your cup and then they say, listen, there is police patrolling. So, it's so strange.
But how is the rate of infections there where you guys? Is it declining?
Governor Kimono. I think that's my nickname. That's my nickname for you when I took
Governor Kimono.
I say kimono. Anyway, Andrew Cuomo. He said that the infection rates are going down daily, and like it's been going down and stuff. So that's a good sign. But we have all the protesters, and we just want them to be safe and get tested to make sure that they are keeping everyone around them safe as well. So the infection rate is going down, but then we also need to take in the fact that, we don't know what could happen. Because they want to open up New York City slowly to like phase 1 or phase 2, I don't know. But it's going down. Because like every morning you would wake up and the numbers would just be like skyrocketed, like every day. I was scared to go outside. Like I wouldn't go outside at all. Now I'm okay to like take a walk down the block and, walk here and walk there and go to the bar. Like obviously social distance.
New kids on the block.
Oh no! Stop, Google.
Massachusetts.
I don't know how she does this, but sometimes Andrew and I will be talking and all of a sudden Google's like, I don't know how to help with that. And I'm like, listen, the government's in on this. Like it's like, how do I didn't even say, hey, Google. And then all of a sudden it just starts talking. That's leaking. Anyway.
I don't know how to segue now. But so what have you been watching and stuff? Because I know you watch a lot.
Well, Andrew and I are big 90 Day Fiancé fans, like massive 90 Day Fiancé fans. And the reunion is coming up this Sunday, and it's going to be like 2 hours, and then it's another episode on Monday, which is another 2 hours. It's amazing. It's amazing. I've always been a 90 Day Fiancé fan.
Yeah, I know.
Always. I was actually telling Andrew, I was like, I don't think that I would have been a good candidate for 90 Day Fiancé. But I don't think that like my little sensitive heart could have taken like the criticism of people. Because I know that when we were dating and coming to America, like obviously like the cultures are different and my views are different. And because it's like a predominantly like American show, like all the American actors, all the American people get paid and the foreigners don't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So in a way, it's about like fall in love, like American and like foreigners. So the viewpoint is always going to try and push the narrative of the American people more. That's just the way that I view it. I could be wrong, but I also am watching it as an immigrant in America. So I'm like, anyway. But
so what is making this season so good compared to like previous?
It's the fact that there are not a lot of people saying yes to proposals, or there's not a lot of like, I have to come to America because of X, Y, and Z. Like, I think the women in the show are more, their voices are more strong than the previous. Like, I think that narrative is changing a little bit with the 90 Day Fiancé, especially with Rose and Ed.
I don't even know. Yeah. I see.
Yeah, this is the new people. Yeah, so Ed is like this 50-old man, and Rose is a 23-year-old from the Philippines, and he was just so insulting from the day one, and would insult like where she sleeps and like her house, and he told her like her breast things. He told her he doesn't like her hairy legs, and after a while, like if somebody's criticizing you all the time, like it's gonna get you. And she was like, bye, boy. Like, no, I'm not gonna stay for this. Like, I don't need a green card that badly or whatever. I don't need one. This is not why I'm doing this. I think the nail in the coffin for her was she told him on chat that she wanted 2 more kids. She's 23 or 20 something. She told him that she didn't want she wanted more kids, and he didn't tell her that he didn't. He only has one daughter. And then he told her, he's like, I don't want more kids. And she was like, why didn't you tell me this before you came here? You knew that was my dream, to have more kids. And now you come here and you insult me and you disrespect my family and stuff. And now you're telling me all this stuff that you don't want to have more kids. And she was like, no, bye. And everybody was like, I just remember, like, because I follow on Twitter, like, the hashtag 90 Day Girls, and everybody's like, woo, it's so gross. So I think that there's more women empowerment now in the show. And there's actually another season coming up called 90 Day the Other Way, where American citizens go to the country of they love their partner, and there's a gay couple, and this is like the first gay couple that they are. So I'm like, okay, no, it's the second one. There was a lesbian couple in this show. I think they're opening up like the 90 Day Fiancé, like gay to other people and to just like diverse it more. And it's fascinating to see how people, get on from different countries, especially because I'm learning through it. And what else am I watching? Oh, I just started yesterday. I started Sweet Magnolias.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
It's this wishy-washy white people, Southern drama. Not Southern, but like, like small
Is it
town.
like Heart of Dixie, or is it not as good?
It's not as good as Heart of Dixie, but it's enough to kind of get you to sit down and not think about anything else. Like you just sit and you're like, it's like a soapy. I would imagine this to be on SABC3, at like 8-9 p.m. Like. That's the only way that I can think of describing it. It's just you sit down, you watch it, you're like, oh, and like, what? Like, it's kind of like has this little scandals and all that kind of stuff. But it's been interesting because obviously small towns aren't what like film and television make it out to be, especially in America.
It always seems like lovely in this Christmas movies.
Oh, yes, it's like, oh, this little small town, and it's everybody's so kind and everybody's so lovely, and it's like, oh, there he is. I went to a small town. We were traveling from San Diego to Big Sur, and we were stopping in the small town on the way. And for me personally, small towns are just not what they show in in the TV series and stuff like that. And I lived in Minnesota, so when I tell you I know small towns and I know that kind of that vibe, then sometimes I'm watching, I'm like, oh, it looks like such a dream. I told Andrew, I just want to go live in a small town, open up an Airbnb, it's just not the same. But anyway, this TV show, Sweet Magnolias, it's cute, it's like, okay, I'll just put it on, watch it, and forget about the world for a little second. It's like a novella. It's like a novella, but like a telenovela, but it's like a
Jane the Virgin.
Yeah. But it's cute. What else have I been watching? Oh my gosh, we watched the other night such a problematic movie. I didn't even realize how it's amazing how 90s movies, some of them are just so problematic. We watched any movie.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I was shook. I was watching it and I was like, this is disgusting. This is not even like the actual acts of what was happening, and like just the dialogue and the jokes that were made. Oh, and I'm like what? I knew at some point in my life, I mean, I was really young when that came out, but I was like, at some point in my life, I know I lost. I know I probably watched it and go, oh my gosh, and I'm like, ew, what in the world was going on that allowed these type of jokes to be made?
Yeah. Are you talking about when he pushes her head down? Which one? Oh, with the sperm on the ceiling.
So the second one, Scary Movie 2, there's the joke about the ghost.
Yes, with the gag on the head.
Yes, but there's the ghost, Mr. Evan, for whatever his name is, and he comes into Tori Stelling's room, and he pulls down the sheet, and then he looks at like her panties, and it says like Wednesday, but the day was Friday or whatever, and then he proceeds to like lift up her dress, like a nightgown, and then you can see the act of her giving him a blowjob, and the ghost puts like his penis in her mouth. Then obviously like the act shows whatever. And I was like, how is this allowed to just like, because it's a ghost, but it's still showing that it's somebody taking advantage of a woman who was first sleeping, and then puts his ghost penis in her mouth, and then proceeds to show her, giving him a blowjob or whatever. And I was just like, and then they proceed to have sex or whatever. And I was just like, this is date culture. This is disgusting. This should not have even been made. Like, we even said it's fine for a ghost to come up on a woman and lift up its face, and it's just like behind all of that. And then there was also a scene with a clown and one of the Wayne brothers has sex with him, but like kind of like dates him. When I'm speaking about it now, I'm just like, what? It's terrible, like that kind of stuff. So no more that type of movies in my house. I told Andrea, I was like, I'm not watching scary movies. I'm not watching any of those type of movies, because I think the less focus and the less attention that you give to those movies, the better. So I'm not giving any views to those type of things.
I mean, I'm sure you do remember when it came out, and it was like a cultural reset. Like, everybody was quoting it. Everybody was talking about the scenes. So it's not just some small movie that fell by the wayside. That was a very important part of our culture.
Yeah.
And then if you think of us women as one thing, but like the guys love that movie. The guys our age love that movie. Also, like, what did that perpetuate inside of them? This kind of culture.
So yeah. I think about that often, and I think of when I was watching, I was thinking about that, like when it came out, and the laughter and the boys that must have watched it, and the influence that it gave them, that it's okay to shove a woman's head down and to do that type of things to get laughs and all that kind of stuff. And I've always been like that, because it's actually really difficult to speak about those type of things. Because you just can't believe that things were allowed, and it's still allowed to this day. It's just because then, it's not as visible as it was in those movies. There are certain cultures that still allow it. So it's watching that was just like, never again. Not going to ever watch that kind of stuff, and not allow my kids to ever watch that kind of stuff, because I know it was such a big hit. Like, scary movie was, like you said, a cultural reset. Everybody was quoting it. I remember the quote still on top of my head. But I also believe in not allowing it to give any more power to those type of movies. So just changing the way that I think about those movies as well. But there's something, what else did I watch? We did watch recently, like 2 weeks ago, watched Watchmen for the first time.
Amazing, isn't it?
HBO. Beginning, it was really slow. I didn't understand what was going on. There was this guy on this other Earth, like another planet. I was like, he was, picking babies from the devil. And I was like, what is going on with this show? I didn't understand. I was like, this is, and you would just like shoot these butlers. I was like, didn't you just love him the other time? Like, and then I saw another one. I was like, what? I think it was more him than the actual show. Like, those scenes, I was like, what is going on? But we stayed and we continued to watch, and that was the first time that I heard about the Tulsa massacre. And I didn't know anything about it, because you don't read about those type of things, and it's not made to. You're not made aware of those type of stuff that has happened here, like in the media, like living here and like listening to what people, it's not something that they talk about. And so as I was researching, I was like, whoa, this shit is real. This happened. It's sad, and nobody speaks about it. Like, how do you go about your, lives, and it's not as prominent as what it should be, So I learned a lot from that show, and I thought it was really, really good. And it was good. It was really good. I don't know why it took me so long to watch it, but I got time now, so now I'm just like
It took me a while as well.
watching everything.
It looked like
Oh, okay.
heavy, and I was like, oh.
Yes, I know. I had the same thing, and I felt so bad for thinking that. But I was like, I don't know. I just don't know. But we binged it in literally 2 days, and yeah, it was really, really good.
I was thinking about what you were saying now, but like how quickly we consume things. What did you put on if you're like stressed or whatever? Like something you don't necessarily have to follow. You know what I mean?
When I don't want to pay attention and stuff like that, and I just like want to put something on, I generally just go to YouTube and I like watching not beauty people, and I'll watch like tips and tricks. Like I like watching Haidem. He gives like good advice on like skincare and stuff. Like, cause like skin is like the worst right now, like the absolute worst. Shout out to Clear Skin Twitter that always just told me to drink water and don't wear makeup and your skin will clear out. I've been doing that for 2 months and I still have acne everywhere.
My skin is a mess. And I only drink water. And I hardly ever wear makeup. I haven't even been waxing my eyebrows. I don't know what's going on.
When I go outside, I put my SPF on and I'm like, and I do everything. My pillowcase is always clean. I'm making sure that, my hair is always clean. I tied up and I don't touch my face. Just everywhere. Everywhere. And I'm just like, I don't understand. So right now, I think my comfort food is whatever I'm feeling at the moment, like what I'm going through. So right now it's like skincare and beauty and stuff like that. So I like putting it on YouTube and just like learning that. But when I know I'm going to sit in front of the TV and I'm going to watch something that's light and fluffy, I will look for more things like Sweet Magnolias, where it's like, childhood love and like romance and like, let's go build up in an old building and like loving that kind of fantasy that the world is perfect, basically. And then also Riverdale. I went into Riverdale quite a bit, to the point where I was like, gargoyles, I was like, where is this game? Let me get on it.
I actually haven't watched the second half of the last season yet.
I haven't watched it either. I watched the first episode, the tribute to Luke Petty, Steve Andrews. And I sobbed. It took me 2 days to watch it because the second, I switched it off when, what's her name from 90210? Gosh.
Shannon Doherty.
When she came and I switched it off. I was like, I can't. And I'm sitting naked and just like, what's wrong? I was like, I just can't. Just like tears sticking me down my face. And then I had to continue watching it. And I watched the second episode and I kind of just stopped because I was literally watching every single day Riverdale. And as stupid as it is, because it's stupid, no one can tell me otherwise. It's stupid. It's a good show to kind of also numb your mind to whatever. It's a good show to distract you from anything. I can't
explain it. When I'm not watching it, I don't want to most of the time. But then when I'm watching it, I'm like, I need the next episode now.
That's exactly it. Because I forced myself to actually watch season 3 because I was like, I don't know if I can watch this. Like, this is so stupid. And then I forced myself to watch it. And then once I got over episode 1, and I was like, give me the next one. Give me the next one. Yes, baby. Yes, this. So I was like, oh my gosh.
Yes, harvesting organs.
Yes, Jan Michael May. I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, when Jan Michael May. I was so there for Jan Michael.
I was shook because I remember seeing tweets last year about Jan Michael May being the Riverdale. I didn't know. Okay, spoiler alert. I didn't know that he was
Edgar.
The dad. He was Edgar. Well, not the dad, the husband, whatever.
Which is so
spoiler alert.
Have you seen that scene where, after they reveal that it's actually her husband, and then she still comes into the room and calls him dad, but no one else is there? So I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, that is the cult that is just, I was like, Jan Michael May, maybe, but harvest my organs, I don't think so. I don't want that. No, thank you. But yeah, that was a big shock for me. I was like, Chad McCalmurray, what? But the one thing that I think that I can't get over, and I as silly as Riverdale is, one thing that I can't understand is how Cole Sprouse, Jughead, is the leader of the Serpent Gang. There is nothing intimidating about Cole Sprouse. There is nothing intimidating about this boy. And I watched it and he's like, there was a scene in the classroom and Jughead was like, no! Like, he was shouting at the ghouling gang, the ghoulish one. It was one guy that was like still on the side. And he's like, go! And I was like, what? Like, yeah, like there's nothing intimidating about him. Like, he's dead, yes. Okay.
Hello.
Let's go. Hi. be my Serpent King. But there's nothing intimidating about Jughead, about Cole Sprouse. It's just, I'm sorry.
No, but I also feel like any gang that is led by teenagers, like, what is happening?
I don't know. It's the silliest thing ever.
And then when Betty was like the Serpent Queen type.
And he's like, you want me to be a Serpent Queen? And she's like on top of me. I was like, no. What nonsense is this? But I am glad that Vanessa has spoken up about being a token black teen. I was so happy when I saw that on Twitter. I was like, yes, because I've had those thoughts done into my head every time. As silly as it is again, it still needs representation. It still needs solid storylines for black characters.
Yes, but I mean, like, look, Josie got written out. She went to that other show. The Pussycats were like barely characters. And then they made Chuck a rapist. And then he was like, what did he do after? Was it like a murderer or something? Or like in part of one of those problematic situations?
Yeah. So I'm glad that she spoke out about that. And again, it was one of my thoughts watching it. It's like, it needs more representation. Like, just because a comic shows that the characters are pale-skinned white people doesn't mean that we have to interpret that in 2020. That have to be.
I feel like they made Veronica Latina, and then thought like,
yeah.
And that's like representation. You know, she's like, Mia. They call her Mia.
Mia. And Popsy's black. Like, no. I
forgot again.
Popsy's black. And Mr. But Mr. Weatherby gives me strange vibes. I don't like him.
Yeah, but he was also in the cult, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. The cult. I was like, well, that's the thing. Like, they're giving all the black characters, like, there's always going to be, like, a curveball with them, you know? Like,
and what happened to and Archie's friend? Didn't he die or something? What, the one that was in jail?
What's his name? Yeah, what's his name? T-Dog, B-Dog, something like some
T-Bone, I don't know.
Something stupid like that. Yeah, he died too. And it's just, but also the names, just like, how can you be a serpent? How can you be in part of a gang and your name is Sweet Pea? Sweet Pea. That's like something my mother would call me when I was a child. Hey, Sweet Pea. Like, that is not, again, that's not intimidation. I feel as though sometimes, like, the Riverdale writers, they'll probably, like, sit around a table and just, like, what is the craziest idea that you have? Yeah, what is the craziest idea that you have? Let's just throw it out there. Let's just pick some ideas, some names out of a hat, and just go with it.
But it's just like, it is like they're just doing any crazy thing. They're like, okay, let's do a how to get away with murder situation. Let's send, because that's sort of what happens in the fourth season. They do like a how to get away. And they send Jughead to like a private school, like a uniform school, like Gossip Girl. No, I don't know, not Gossip Girl. One of those other shows where they go to like boarding school type vibes. I'm like, what other crazy shit? I'm sure people have crazy ideas and they're like, that doesn't fit within the defines of the show, but it feels like there is no, like, remember when Archie was like working on their farm? Remember when Archie was attacked by a bear?
Oh my gosh, I had different vibes, and I was not, you know what, Leonardo is not the only one. Like Archie Andrews, pretty much in terms of
Highs
that
and
was
lows
like,
of high school football.
I just got cracked for my nana. Well, you don't know the highs and lows of football. I was like, what? What?
Even the fact that Archie went to jail, man. Like, what?
I know. Too much. But I think, that's what makes me put on Riverdale. Is that it's such silly filler, but we love it though. But it needs more representation too. Just put it out there.
And also, like, I feel like the main four is starting to annoy me now. Like, I need something more.
I also don't like how they set in Veronica's character as well. Like how she used Reggie as well. Like,
yeah,
I didn't like that. I didn't like that storyline. I didn't like how they were making her. Oh, this actually brings me to another show that I've been watching, which is actually really nice. It's called The Beauty and the Baker. It's got a lot of Latino representation, which is nice to watch. Yeah, it's about like, think about her as like a Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton type, and she's like this billionaire, whatever, has her own company, blah blah blah, and she's like the celebrity. And then she meets this guy who works for his family's bakery. It's exactly what you think it is: Beauty and the Baker. Like a millionaire was like this baker boy, and like his family's struggling. Oh, and this girl, she can't. But the nice thing is that the character knows she is a person of color, so it's not like this white woman coming in to save this family, which I like, because there's nothing worse than watching a show and you're watching it and like these the saving grace is that one white person who just happens to know everything and like, you know, gives a handout, and like they are like the center of this.
A white savior.
The white savior. Oh, nothing gets on my tits like a white savior. Like nothing. Oh God, I really hope that nobody is like, you know, hate me on this. But anyway, that the whole white savior context just works on my nerves.
It's like a rom-com type show.
Yeah, rom-com type of show. It's really cute. It's an easy watch. It's an easy watch. You go, oh, did that happen? Wow, oh my gosh, whatever. And then get kind of invested in the characters. I will say that Noah and what's his name? Gosh, you see, I watched one show. It's out of my. The season finale happened. Now it's like out of my mind. Like I just don't even know anything about it. The other day I was tweeting like theories on Twitter, and I just don't even know what the theories are anymore. It's complete. It's like I picked it up and it's out. It's gone until second season comes, and then we'll like pick up. But anyway, they have zero chemistry. It's like the worst chemistry ever. But the story is quite good. Like the storyline and stuff.
Okay.
Again, it would be on like maybe ACBC 10 o'clock. Yeah, so that is a fun little thing to watch when you don't know what to watch, basically, because it's light and fluffy and
Is there only one season out or two?
Now then there's like 7 or 8 episodes. They're like 45 minutes long each. There's only one season. Hopefully ABC likes to cancel things. We all know that. So I'm just hoping that they don't cancel this and they allow it to have a second season. And for like obviously to get the comments and opinions of the viewers and to get that in so that the writers can kind of maybe, you know.
Yeah.
Make it like better than, and not make it better, but like reach the potential that it has, you know. There's nothing worse than a show that has potential and the networks cut it because
I hate that.
because of viewership. And the thing is, like, what I don't understand about the Netflix here is that nobody is really watching it because it comes on Monday at 10 p.m. on ABC, and not a lot of people's watching it at 10 p.m. on ABC. Like I'm not gonna remember to watch it at 10 o'clock. So, I mean, that's one of the things that happened to you with Penn, Bagley, whatever his name is. It was on.
What do you mean me? I'm like,
no.
How did I get cancelled?
You. I remember it's so funny. I have a list. When I lived in Long Island with a family, they had like normal cable TV. And I had a list of all the shows that would come on cable. And I would keep it in the table so I knew, okay, Mondays I would watch this, Tuesdays I would watch this, Wednesdays I would watch this. And
I think I did that as like a kid. I
was doing that as a 27-year-old because they had cable, and so I wasn't gonna, sign up for Hulu and like HBO and stuff like that, and like all the streaming sites. So I had to watch it live. I didn't know that they had like, what do you call it? You can record the shows and stuff like that. I didn't know that. So I was being an idiot and like making sure that I was watching it on the time. Meanwhile, I could have just recorded. But that's what happened with you as well. The network that was on, nobody was watching it. Then they moved it, and that's when it like blew up. And then that's when they got the second season and stuff. So I don't understand networks there, to be honest. Also, there is a lot of game shows here. They will make game shows out of everything. Everything there's a game show about. There's one with the guy from, what's his name, Parks and Recreation. Oh, the short guy.
Aziz? No.
I don't even know. I've never watched Parks and Recreation. I don't even know he's this thing. But he was Amy Poehler. I always see memes on Twitter, so this is how I know it. He was like the lucky episode. What's his name?
Yes. Adam Scott. The one that
Adam
was
Scott. Oh my God, oh my word, Pia, come on, Big Little Lies. But there's going to be like a game show that's coming on ABC, I think. It's called Don't. And I was like, what? And he's hosting it. And I'm just like, I don't understand. There's just so many game shows on American TV. It's just so many. And there's just, there was Shazam. There was that Lego one with Amy Poehler's ex-husband. Read back with names. And there's that Ellen DeGeneres game show as well. Mm-hmm. But now that I know the truth about it, I don't watch it because she seems mean. And the problem with you talking to me with the podcast is that I just speak my mind. Like I'm speaking to my friends. No consequences.
Thank you so much for listening. Once again, all the info about recommendations will be in the show notes. That was Pia Jane. You can find her at _PIAJANE, Pia Jane, on Twitter, and Mrs. Van Candy, MRSVANCANDY, on Instagram. Me, you can find at Caryn Walby on Instagram, and Caryn Walby's with an S on Twitter. You can find the podcast at Crushing On Pod on Twitter, crushingonpodcast.com, and you can send any feedback to crushingonpod@gmail.com. Don't forget to rate and review on Apple Podcasts. All episodes are edited and produced by Rebecca Barches. Thank you so much for listening.